Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our new lecture based on Kashmiri script. It's a part of Kashmiri language course, but this part goes to historical background of Kashmiri. So I'll start here. Kashmiri language. That means we call it Kashmiri or kosher. This is kosher. So, dear viewers, let you know first, I'll write them on the board. This Kashmiri language is from the dardic group. So I'll write here first Kashmiri, then I will go for the classification where exactly I will come from. I will just start from the bottom and will reach to the top, so we can understand better that way. Where exactly is dardic language group, and where from this dardic came, and where from this Kashmiri came, and who speak Kashmiri language, and what kind of scripts they did use with the passage of history. So the dardic language, so as if you just take it as a bottom, this I will write here dardic group of language. So if I say that I consider here three people, they are speaking three languages. They are speaking one language. Three persons, they speak one language. Let you consider this language as Arabic. And these three people, these three persons, they migrated to three different places. So their original language, their mother tongue was Arabic. And they migrated to place first, place second, place third. And this place is some 1,000 kilometers from place second, and that place second is some 1,000 kilometers from place third. So when he came there and he met some people who were there, and some of the changes were brought to his language, Arabic. But the generations, his language became dominant, but the generations passed, they still going on accepting words, they still going on inflecting words in a different way to their own language. They started having what we call loan words from different groups they attached with in the place first. So their language became a bit different because of the inflection of their regional inflection, what we call the influence of other people, or the words they came across, the geographical figures. So we'll say that, oh, their language is this, but their mother tongue was Arabic. That means their one language was Arabic, and the place second person, he went with this Arabic language, but he came across different modifications with the passage of history, and now it was looked at as if this language is different from that language in spoken form. But the originality remains there, that we can say that the basic and the mother and the source of the language was Arabic. Now the person third, he comes across the different variations, different modifications, and this loan words, inflected words. That means all that language which were developed, and then their sister language which were developed because their children would migrate to different sub-places and sub-places, and their old language will say that the source was Arabic. So what Dardic group, it has its source, we call that source Indo-Aryan languages. I'll write here Indo-Aryan languages. So Indo-Aryan languages. So what was this Indian Aryan language? So actually this Indian Aryan language, let you consider this was the child of a father, and the father was, his name was Indo-Iranian. So I'll write here Indo-Iranian. And they were Indo-Iranian, either he was the brother of Indo-European, or he was the child of Indo-European language. So the case is there, historical background is there, that we know that Indo-European language was the first language group from which different languages developed. So now this Dardic group, you consider it is the son of Indo-Aryan, and this Indo-Aryan, Iranian is the son of, this Indo-Aryan is the son of Indo-Iranian. And this Indo-Aryan language, you can call it as Indic language group. Indic, Indic-Aryan languages, you can call it Indic also, Indic-Aryan. Now, this Indo-Iranian language, we have this from Indo-European, and we know that this Indo-Iranian, which is now the father of grandfather of this this Dardic group of languages, and its son is Indo-Aryan language. Let we understand this way. Where was this group, Indo-Iranian group? Where were the people of this Indo-Iranian group? They were speaking a language. For example, we don't know what kind of language they were speaking, but we'll speak, let me give also the name it as Indo-Iranian language. They were speaking Indo-Iranian language. They were in Western Asia, they were in Central Asia, and they were in South Asia, and somehow Southeast, and somehow this Southwest somewhere. But the main figures we'll see. First we'll see the Asia. What's Asia? We know that if we consider here, this is Asia. So in the Western Asian part, we have the borders up to Turkey. Turkey borders, that means Anatolia or Old Greece, what we call, up to that border, and hereby the borders of South Africa or Africa. We know there is Egypt, and there is Red Sea banks, and the Mediterranean Sea coastal areas somehow. Up to here Iran, Iraq, Asia Minor whole, and here Arabian people, their language, this was also Indo-Iranian. And this was the Indo-Iranian, but this was the West Asia. But what's the North Asia? North Asia is here. If you consider this as Iran, the northern Iran part and some parts of the Russia, northern Iran part, there you have northern Iran, you have this Turkmenistan, you have Tajikistan, you have Azerbaijan, and these are the parts up to here, somehow nearest here Chinese border. This is what we call North Asia. And then we have East Asia, wherein we have China, Mongolia, Japan, Korea, North Korea, and we have South Asia, wherein we have India, we have Pakistan, we have Sri Lanka, we have Bangladesh, and we have some Oceania Asia, that's from up to Indonesia, that's here what we call Burma, that's Malaysia, that's Singapore, and these are the parts. So this is the Asia, one of the biggest continents. So in this Asian part, the language which were being spoken, or the one language we call, that was Indo-Iranian language. And from Indo-Iranian group, one particular group, maybe from this what we call that Middle East or somewhere else, the group came, because they were Western in nature as well. The group came to India. We call them Aryans. That's why we call it Common Aryan language, this Indo-Aryan and Common Aryan language. So these were the Aryans. These Aryans, they came and they settled on the banks of the rivers. We will not go to the historical background because we have to see Dardic group and kosher language. Kosher verse is included in Dardic group of languages. So this was a bit about this language where from it came. Now Dardic, which is also called as Pisaka, now we'll take Dardic out and let Dardic be here. Dardic group. This is also called as Pisaka. Now this Dardic group, we'll find where is the relation of this Kashmiri language. The first group of Dardic languages that's there, that's called Kashmiri or kosher. So the first group, right here, group first, that is Kashmiri. And in this group you have the Kashmiri, which is which the people of Kashmir's valley they speak. We call that standard Kashmiri. So that means you have here Maras, you have here Kamras, you have here Yamras. These are, we call them standard dialects. standard dialects. But we have, on the border areas, we have the influence of other languages as well. For example, Gojri, for example, Punjabi. So the loan words or the inflected words which we have there, which they speak with the different dialects, is from the other language, the influence of other language. But the man standard Kashmiri is the first group of Dardic languages. And where we speak this man standard, this Kashmiri language, first that is Kashmiri, called man standard the Kashmiri. And we have here also what we call this Kishtwari Kashmiri, Kishtwari or W. And we have here what we call, in Kishtwari we have their Doda, we have their other areas, and we have another one that's called Pogli. We have this Rambani. So we group them in the first group of Dardic language, that's Pogli, but we have these languages. As we see the area where these languages are being spoken, this is world over. That means in England you see the people, they speak Kashmiri because they have migrated to different places. And you see in Pakistan, they speak, some groups there. You speak in Azad Kashmir, you speak here in Kashmir. Here we have up to the Chenab region, we speak their Kashmiri. But we have the influence of, in these areas, the influence of Dogri, influence of other languages, like influence of, in Kashmiri we have the influence of Punjabi and Gurmukhi as well, because we have the one section of the people as Sikhs, they live here. So this was the first group. So in another group of Dardic language, what we have in another group that's called what we call Brokshed. We call that Brokshed group. Brokshed. In Brokshed we have Shini language, or Shinai, which we call Shinai. We speak that language in the area of Baltistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And the Baltistan, that very language that goes to Shinai in this Baltistan and the Ladakh area. So I will call it as the group of Brokshed or Brokshed language. Brokshed, second group in Dardic. Brokshed. So you can consider these are the children of Dardic group, Brokshed. So here we have Shini language. So Shini, sometimes maybe some people are confused, Shini is the Kashmiri. No, it's not Kashmiri, it's a different language and it's being spoken in Baltistan, Gilgit-Baltistan, what we call part of Kashmir, and some of the parts there in Pakistan, Gilgit-Baltistan, and also Ladakh. And now another group which we have in this Dardic group, that's of what we call that is Citral group. That is Citral group. Citral. And in this Citral language group, you can call, in this Citral language group, you have the what we call this Kalasha, and you have Khovar, Kalasha and Khovar. These are the places where you speak Khawarsha, Khovar, and Khawarsha. After Chitral, you have the language group that's also in Dardic, that's called Kohistani. Kohistani. That's called Kohistani. That means in Dardic group we have now the first one is Kashmiri, and the second one is what we call that Chitra, this Brokshed. Third group is Chitral group of language, and now we have Kohistani. And now we have what we call Pashai. We have another group of Dardic, what we call Pashai. Some of the groups we'll introduce. And another group which was introduced by George Abraham Grierson, that's Nuristani. That is Nuristani. So what's the relation of these? The relation with the Kashmiri, because we need to know the historical background. Nuristani, Pahari, Pashai, Nuristani, Kohistani, Chitral language group, Brokshed. These are the sister Dardic group of languages of Kashmiri language. And George Abraham Grierson, you know that he did linguistic survey. He came here as a this civil servant, and he did linguistic survey, the greatest linguistic survey ever done by any person. And we have two great scholars. One is F.W. Thomas and Turner. These two great scholars, they call the linguistic survey of George Abraham Grierson as the the great imperial museum. George Abraham G. Grierson. So he has also composed a dictionary of Kashmiri language and also done a lot work on Kashmiri language, including the work on Lalwak. So this is, he came here from Ireland and he did linguistic survey, and he kept Nuristani in the Dardic group of languages. But we have the opinion difference here. We had a great scholar also, another scholar, what we call George Morgenstern. George Morgenstern, he was the linguistic professor. And it's not like the linguistic professors here. If we tell our linguistic professors that why they have not worked on Kashmiri language, they will say that we are from the background of English. Our linguistic, this means is English, so we are not meant for this. But they were not for this Indian language, neither Grierson nor we call this, even if they had learned Sanskrit and Hindustani. When we talk of George Abraham Grierson, when he was in school, Dublin College, he won the prizes for Sanskrit and Hindustani there. Then he came here, he settled in Bihar where he was the officer there in charge, and then he started his work. And also then he got interested, otherwise this was not. So whenever, it's your responsibility to work on language wherever you get the chance. So Morgenstern says that this Nuristani is not from the Dardic group, so he, as the Dardic group, we include it with Indo-Aryan. But he says that Nuristani is a separate group from the Indo-Iranian, and these Indo-Iran from this Iranian, he included in Indo-Iranian, but we know Dardic is in Indo-Aryan. So these were two branches. So the minor difference there, the difference of where to keep this group. So ultimately we came to know that Kashmiri language, let me rub it first some of the parts here. Kashmiri language is being spoken here by the people of Kashmir, by the people of Kishtwar, by the people of what we call people of Ramban, people of Toda and other. These are actually the different dialectical groups. They have the influence of their area, they have the influence of the people they live with. So the loan words they have, that's from different languages. Now, Kashmiri language, its script. We have seen with the historical background 3 orthographic scripts, and later the 4th one, 3 orthographic, what we call, orthography means the outline graph. 3 graphic scripts were used for the Kashmiri language, but I would say that some of their scripts, they were only used, that's what we call a traveler. They were like a traveler. One was the Sharda script. The first one I will include because that's the most dominant one, that's Perso-Iranian script, Perso-Iranian script, this Arabic script, or this we can call now as Kashmiri script as well, because we have introduced our own alphabets and some of the sounds which we have here in Kashmiri, and then Sharda, and then we have Devnagri. Now, see, Perso-Arabic script. This script is the most dominant script. And this script is used by both, all the groups, like we have Gojri, some other people, they know Perso-Arabic script. All people, we have here Sikhs, they know Perso-Arabic script, and they write in it. We have here Pandits, Hindus, they know Perso-Arabic script, and Kashmiris, Muslims, Hindus, all people, they know, and they have been using and they have been writing in Perso-Arabic script, because this is one of the most dominant scripts which you see that there had been in the past great experimentation with the script, and then onwards in the modern times we have such a great script which has such, I would say, that absorbance to tolerate all different kinds you have. So it has a spiritual effect as well, this very script, because of Abjad. When we talk of Abjad, now the 3 scripts for Kashmiri, Sharda, Devnagri and Perso-Arabic script. this Devnagri script, when we are talking about this Devnagri script, we have the alphabets from India and Nepal. India and Nepal. India and Nepal. And let me talk about one by one. Yeah, let me say India, Nepal, and we say it Abu Gida. A B U G I D A. You can pronounce it as Abu Gida. Means the combination of what we call vowel and consonant together when they appear, and that's called Abu Gida. So this was from India and Nepal, and we have different then groups which used Devnagri script. But it was somehow sometimes used as, I would say, the passerby language, but thus now it's used by some of the pundits Devnagri script, but only in ceremonial cases. What we have, the religious ceremonies, and then you have to recite something there, it's used there. And another group, what we call that's Sharda. That is Sharda script. And when we talk of Sharda, we have this Sharda script which was used for this Sanskrit, by the Brahmanic scripts, by Sanskrit and Kashmiri. That means you have to write Sanskrit, and let me take the chart. You have to write Sanskrit and you have to write this what we call Kashmiri. But now the sister group which was used and which got dominant in some of the parts like Gurmukhi. So they used then this Sharda, and we have a book, also religious book, written in this Gurmukhi language. But now we have this Perso-Arabic script. This has been one of the dominant scripts. But the people there in India, they have somehow religious inclination with Sharda and Devnagri as well. But we people have the respect for these scripts. Like the religious inclination, like they have this, they consider Sharda script as given by Saraswati, because they call Saraswati as the goddess of learning, and they have this very inclination towards this script. But now Kashmiri language, that's the 22nd scheduled language in Indian Constitution. Kashmiri language is the 22nd scheduled language. And where we have also the script, we know that which script would be used. Obviously, that's Perso-Arabic script which we use there, and that's 22nd Constitution, and also the 8th of the J&K Constitution. So the 22nd schedule of this and 8th schedule in J&K Constitution, we have it for the Kashmiri language. But unfortunately, Kashmiri language, which was made compulsory in 2008 November, it was made compulsory that we have to learn this language. It was compulsory made up to the secondary standards, but unfortunately we don't have here still the examination of this paper when we talk of matriculation, when we talk of 10th class. So it's our own language, and we are not what we say that we are not able to have the examination of it. We are not having to have coordination with the board, with the government agencies, and they could have just introduced the examination of it. But I think if we have a love for this language, we shall introduce it, and we shall have the language centers in every corner of the Kashmir, like we have in France, we have in Germany. They have in streets, every street you have the language center for France. And if you want to go there, you have to learn their language. Like you go to Russia, you go to China, you go to Japan, you go to Korea, Korean people, you see they speak first their language, that's in their syllabus, and you have some books written in that language. That way, that pattern, we shall adopt. We shall have language centers in different streets, in different lanes, wherein we teach the people the script of Kashmiri and also how to write Kashmiri, and that way it will become a very efficient way, I would say. So to know some more, to have some more information, you just be in continuation with this. We have some more series, we have some more videos. So you subscribe our videos, and you can also note my address: bukhari@gmail.com. So see you in our next this lesson. Till then, goodbye.